Shalom Chaverim. It's me, Michael Gamson, president of the board here at Beth Am. I really hate wearing these things. They're uncomfortable and they make my glasses fog up. I absolutely hate wearing a mask. One of the only things I could think of that is worse than wearing a mask is the thought of not wearing a mask because it was a minor inconvenience and then somehow facilitating the spread of this deadly disease to vulnerable people. If I knew that my selfishness had caused the ultimate suffering for a family, I don't think I could forgive myself. So I wear my mask when the situation dictates it. So when does the situation dictate it? That's the million-dollar question. The whole world is wrestling with it. Here at Beth Am, we've come up with a system to try and address this question. It's probably not a perfect solution, but hopefully it can lend some stability and predictability to the difficult decisions we have to make to keep our building open. The board has established a COVID response committee to address this need. The CRC will meet every 3 weeks to establish the building protocols for the next 3 weeks. During the 3-week interval, the CRC will monitor current conditions, consult with professionals, and receive feedback from the congregation about what's working and what's not. The CRC will use a 5-tier system to quickly and clearly communicate the safety level of building occupancy for the following 3 weeks. So keep an eye out in the weekly bulletin and social media, on the website, and in-person signage, which will explain the current building tier level. Here are the 5 tiers that the CRC will use to communicate safety protocols. Tier 1 is the one we hope we never get to. The temple's closed for all indoor events. It's just not safe at the current time. So when you see Tier 1, the building is closed. Tier 2, we are open for indoor groups that are less than 20, so small groups, but with masks and social distancing. So things are still pretty high in the numbers in the pandemic, so we can have small groups in the synagogue, but they still need to have masks and social distancing. Level 3 is open for groups of 20 or more with masks and social distancing for everyone, and no food served indoors. That's where we are right now. We're at level 3. Last week we had Shabbat services. It was incredibly wonderful and beautiful. And we all wore masks and we didn't have an Oneg Shabbat, but it was so nice to be back together. That's level 3. Level 4, the temple's open for large groups with no masks or distancing for vaccinated people. Unvaccinated people should continue to wear masks. Food can be served, but no buffets. So that is the next tier up. And finally, level 5, we're just open with no restrictions. Of course, that's the level we all want to reach. And I think if we stick to the plan, we can get there. We're hopeful that this process will add some stability and predictability to these uncertain times. And of course, this situation is constantly in flux. So the protocols may need to be tweaked. However, we feel like this is a good starting point. I cannot thank you all enough for being part of this extended virtual community for the last 18 months. Now, it's time to come back to Temple so we can celebrate and pray together in person. I look forward to seeing all of you in person in coming weeks for Shabbat and other events. Make sure you check social media and signage at the Temple to see what tier level we're at with our COVID protocols. Thanks, everyone, and Shabbat Shalom.